But I do have a proclamation. And it simply reads as follows. Presented to Funyanna, Kirkpatrick, Saulsberry, and the Kirkpatrick family. Whereas in 1964, a small group of African American men in Jonesboro, Louisiana, defied the nonviolent policy of the mainstream civil rights movement and formed an armed self-defense organization that later became 21 chapters for the Deacons for Defense located throughout the country to protect movement workers, families, and communities from KKK and other vigilantes and police violence. And whereas it is well documented that goals of the civil rights movement were achieved through Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his non-violent avocation, and the Deacons for Defense armed resistance participation, we pay special tribute to the Kirkpatrick late wife, Miss Annie Pearl Kirkpatrick. Children, the late Freddie Kirkpatrick, Camille Kirkpatrick, Washington, Alfreda Kirkpatrick Turner, and Brunella Kirkpatrick. And to grandchildren, some of whom never had a chance or the opportunity to meet their granddad, experiencing immeasurable suffering and sacrifice which befalls all great leaders. And whereas Funyanna, torchbearer of legacy, is granddaughter of Deacons for Defense founder and leader Reverend Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick, who also traveled the world as a guitar-playing folk singer, I admonish you, Funyanna, to visualize your victory and put on the full armor of God so that your armor of light may forever be anointed. Now therefore, I, Leslie Cornell Thompson, Mayor of the town of Jonesboro, do hereby declare this day, August 6, 2020, to be Reverend Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick and Funyanna's Kirkpatrick Saulsberry Day for commemorating and perpetuating the great and incomparable Kirkpatrick legacy. This is also signed by Ms. Earlene Knox. When I think of Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick, I see him in the same light as a Nat Turner. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, somebody who's saying, I may have to give my life, but the issue is I just wish that I had more than one to give. I see him in the light of a Denmark Vesey. Mm-hmm. We have to fight. I see him in the light of a Malcolm X, who understood that there was no such thing as a revolution without bloodshed. Mm. And when you understand that, and that's not to take away from those who did what they did the way they did it, but my heart, I'm going after Mr. Kirkpatrick's own spirit, is what I say. And when I think about him, I'm getting a little emotional myself because I know what he went through. I know what he had to do with the price.
A letter of appreciation to the family of Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick. The Jackson Parish Branch NAACP number 6309 acknowledges with grateful appreciation the great work of one of the founders of the Deacons for Defense, Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick. His extraordinary abilities to organize people of color to protect their communities against the KKK and police is incomprehensible. Mr. Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick was an amazing team leader who was diligent and hardworking. His dedication to protecting his community and others has been written in books and will forever be told all over this world about his bravery.
At that time, presented this 6th day of August 2020, we dedicate this symbol of appreciation to you for carrying on the legacy of your grandfather, Reverend Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick, a Deacon for Defense founder, Jackson High School teacher and coach, who ignited the 1964-65 student protest, This tribute in gold symbolizes your royal lineage. The round shape with lines and dots represent the people of all nationalities coexisting throughout the world, impacted by his work. It is our hope and belief that your spirit will touch them all through your humanitarian endeavors and voice of sultry, captivating song. I didn't know I was gonna get emotional.
Yeah.
Please come forward. Lutheran. And this plaque says, Funyanna, carrying on the Kirkpatrick legacy of civil rights and song, on behalf of the students of Jackson High School and those whose lives he touched.
I really did not prepare. I didn't prepare well to get up here and say anything. I think you guys said exactly what needed to be said concerning my grandfather. So what I would say to that is this. Of course, first giving God honor to God, who is the head of my life. Of course, I love him with my whole heart, mind, soul, and spirit. And to the Honorable Mayor, Leslie Thompson, God bless you. Elected officials, my husband, and this gentleman back here in the back, this lady right here, she blessed my soul, especially the one in NAACP. That letter, thank you so much. And Pastor, we're so glad to have you. It's always good to have God's presence in the building. Okay, as you know, I am the oldest grandchild of Reverend Frederick Douglass Kirkpatrick. And on behalf of the Kirkpatrick family, I would like to say thank you. I am a little emotional, but just understand it's genuine, it's real. You know, when I looked at this, and I looked on the back of it, it said, vote Kirkpatrick for president. In 1976, my mother was pregnant with me. And just to know, this year, this man, you mentioned the word courage, sacrificed his life for so many. Miss Earlene Knox, I mean, she's just a blessing. She told me she was a teenager back then, but how they fought for our rights, equality all across the board. But my grandfather, I have some bullet points here. You know, he was a football coach, I knew that. He was a visionary, a trailblazer. But this man was an NFL player. He wrote this anthem, the Civil Rights Anthem. I don't know if y'all knew, but Martin Luther King asked him to write this anthem called Everybody Has a Right to Live. Martin Luther King. He wrote it. He's written several albums. He was a folklorist. Not only was he a folklorist, but he conceived the Louisiana Folk Fest that was held in Grambling. And as a little girl, I would go and visit my grandfather. And he would sing about Black history, he would sing about freedom. And this is what it's all about. And considering the times have changed, but the times are somewhat still the same because there are a lot of racial tension that is happening. And for those young men that you talked about that wanted to reorganize the Deacons for Defense, I say go ahead with it. Because that legacy it's right here. I mean, this area right here is rich. Granddaddy, he was on Sesame Street, and you see y'all had that on the back. What else did he do? This man did so much. He formed a coffee house in New York City, and then he allowed people to come out and display their talents. He was all about music. And a lot of people don't know we're instruments of God's praise. So, I mean, not only that, but he was with Dr. Martin Luther King 3 days before he was assassinated. And I brought the picture right there for everybody to see. And because of his legacy, I am who I am. I am now an artist. I sing music. I'm about to be an author. And on top of that, I'm a business owner and an activist. And I'm in the chapter of the NAACP in Monroe, Louisiana. The president is Reverend Dozo, and I'm sure she knows. So to Earlene Knox, thank you for this invitation. Thank you all for the letters. I mean, this was just a blessing in disguise. I did not expect for my name to be nowhere on that proclamation. God bless all of you, and I expect to see y'all next year.
Great. I'm up. 1, 2,